Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are wrapping up our Path to the Vanguard series. And that can only mean one thing. We're in the Vanguard. So with that being said, let's look at our commander. We're running Azure Lane Nelson with Azure Lane Scharnhorst and Paolo de Revel as our two inspirations. We are running Flammable Cannoneer, Big 7, Marksmanship, Master Mechanic, and Fight Fire with Fire as our perks. Alright, if we look at the loadout here, we're running Aiming Systems Mod 1. We're running Propulsion Mod 2. Concealment System Mod. I changed this in the game that you're going to see. I'll actually have the Target Acquisition Mod on still, but I just changed this. I didn't realize that we got access to the Concealment System Mod, so I'm going to be using it. Main Battery Mod 3. Okay, we are fully upgraded. As you can see, we do get those 5 heals. We get the main battery reload booster and a secondary enhanced secondary targeting skill. Okay. We are running the Union Jack permanent camo and a community contributor flag. No other boosters are being run. Survivability, 71,700 hit points with a 25% torpedo damage reduction. You have 8 381mm 42 caliber Mark 1 primary batteries. Reach out to 18.4 kilometers. Reload in just 20.8 seconds. And have a 180-degree turn time of 34.5 seconds. The maximum HE shell damage is 6728 with a 42% chance to set fire. And then, of course, you have the maximum AP shell damage of 14,500. For secondaries, you have 134mm 50 caliber Mark 1s. You have 16 of those, and they reach out to 5.2 kilometers, reload in just 6.7 seconds, and have a maximum HE shell damage of 1900 with an 8% chance to set fire. AA defense, you have the 40mm Bofors Mark 7s that you have 11 of. They do 96 damage per second, reach out to 3.5 kilometers. Then you have the 40mm Stogs that you have 2 of that do 25 damage per second and reach out to 3.5 kilometers. Then you've got the 40mm Bofors Mark 6s that you have 60 of, and they do 292 damage per second, reach out to 3.5 kilometers. And then, of course, your dual-purpose secondaries, the 134mm 50 caliber Mark 1s. You have 16 of those doing 68 damage per second and reaching out to 5.2 kilometers. Maneuverability, maximum speed 30 knots, so pretty nice and quick. Gotta love a fast battleship. Turning circle, not the greatest with this build. You could throw away the propulsion and maybe go for the steering gears. It's up to you. And a rudder shift time, a little bit on the sluggish side, but not too bad, 15.4 seconds. Concealment, 13.1 by sea, thanks to that concealment system mod. 11 by air, 2 is always guaranteed, and then the 13.9 kilometer detectability while firing in smoke. All right, let's check out the armor, shall we? I may have accidentally turned all this off already. But right off the bat, you can see that we have a 32mm bow. Pretty standard stuff for a Tier 7 battleship. Nothing's punching through that except Yami on the bow, so keep that in mind. Get rid of that. And just check out the Citadel. Now, the Citadel in this thing, while it is at the waterline / submerged, it does go from the front gun to the rear gun, and it tends to take some weird citadels. Citadels that you wouldn't expect it to take. But we'll showcase some of that in the video. By the way, we've got a fantastic video for you guys, so hopefully you're ready. Superior HE penetration, above average HE shell penetration. A greater heal, repair party restores severe damage. And then Barrage can be equipped with a main battery reload booster. Vanguard, the last battleship of the British Royal Navy. Due to the specific conditions of her construction phase, she combined high speed, powerful AA, and up-to-date equipment, while still preserving obsolete main battery guns. She entered service in 1946. There were one of them in the series. So let's take a look at her. I'm not a big fan of this camo at all. I think they could have done the Union Jack better than this, but you know, is what it is. It's all they got to represent the Union Jack in the game, so I went ahead and used it. And yeah, other than that, she's a good looking ship. So, with that being said, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so we're going to be on Northern Waters, and we are in the Vanguard. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys, this match is going to be a doozy. Sometimes it just works out that way. You don't always expect it, but when it happens, it's kind of nice. So, yeah, with that being said, let's get into it. Now, right off the bat, I kind of look over, see what we're up against. We got 3 enemy destroyers. And this match is going to come down to the wire. Like, no joke. This is going to come down to the very, very end. To see who's going to win this match. But we're going to give her everything we got, guys. And that's all you can do sometimes. But we're going to go ahead and start pushing our way over towards Alpha. See if we can't help win that side first. Again, I like to try to win a side, so when I spawn mid, usually I pick the side that I'm closest to. Or, sometimes if there's like a 3 or 4 battleships on one side, I'll choose the other side. That sort of thing. Kind of split up and try to help as much as we can. Now, I felt pretty good going into this. We have a Tashkent here, and I was like, oh, cool. We get an actual gunboat that should be able to deal with any of the destroyers that it runs into. Unfortunately, not the way it works out sometimes. But we got a shot of the Siegfried right off the bat. We're waiting for our guns to get there. Remember, our gun traverse not the fastest because of all the perks that we've chosen. But we get the first shot off, and they are lasers. And we smash the Siegfried for half his hit points right off the bat. 26,000 damage opening salvo. You gotta love it. And that's why this ship, more than most battleships, you will be switching ammo types. You can get away with shooting AP more often than not. But you'll definitely want to take advantage of switching ammo types when you can, because it does have fantastic high explosive as well. And so here we switch targets to the Odin because the Odin's coming out. And we managed to get a good chunk off the Odin as well. And we're going to be able to get another shot here on this Odin. And then I'm going to use the reload booster here, which ends up not necessarily being the best idea. I thought I could get another shot on the Odin. I quickly realized that I'm much too fast to get a shot on the Odin. We get a very good hit on the Odin, and then we look back at the right moment, we actually see that we have a good shot at the North Carolina, and we are going to pummel this man. And you can see right off the bat, we are already at 50,000 damage, and we're about to get this North Carolina for 20k. This is no joke, man. The Vanguard, when it's performing the way it should, is nasty. You do not want to be given a broadside to this thing. Cruisers, you get death struck if you're not careful. Battleships tend to just take a lot of damage. But it's a pretty solid ship. Never used to like this ship. I've said this multiple times, but never used to like the Vanguard. But the last few times I've been playing in this thing, I've actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I think it's just one of those ships that you need to know what you're doing before you start playing it. Because if you don't, you'll just be miserable. And so you can see here we're kind of a little timid about coming around the corner right off the bat. I was looking at, and it looks like our Gneisenau's already gotten himself into some trouble. And then of course our Tashkent just goes in and dies. I have no words. No words. But we take another shot out at the Odin. And unfortunately I think we get 1 penetration. Yeah, 1 penetration. 3,600 damage. He's gonna keep trying to kite away. We don't chase kites, right, guys? That's something I've told you guys multiple times. We just don't do. There's a reason for that. Because it puts you in a bad position. It pulls you away from your team. It pulls you away from objectives. And I'm pretty quickly recognizing the fact that this Gneisno is not going to survive much longer. And so I'm pretty certain of his impending death. And I need to start thinking about what I need to do to try to survive longer. We've got the Alabama out here. We're going to go ahead and take that shot. Thought we could get the shot without being detected, but clearly the Odin is still in our zone out there and is able to detect us. And with this, it's time for us to start making our turn back in. We can't sit out here and slug it out with an Odin, a Siegfried, and a Alabama. It's not going to go well for us. So we're going to start making our way back in towards the mid. That's going to limit who's going to be able to shoot us. And it's also going to allow us some pretty juicy shots to take at people. And the Siegfried, once again, comes out just begging for it. Absolutely begging for it. We don't get the best shot. We get about 10k off of him. The Odin out there setting us on fire. You got to love that. But again, it's not something that you really have to worry about because of the heals that you get. But you do have to watch out for that Alabama and that Siegfried that's actually loading armor piercing on you. And this is one of those times where I thought I could get away with using the propulsion mod to get me out of trouble. I slow down and turn in, I believe, on this next shot on this Alabama. I know he's shooting at me, and you can see I slow down, I'm turned in, I'm full reverse right now, thinking I'm going to get, and actually I end up making it worse. He hits me perfectly, dead center of the ship, and we're going to use one of those heals right off the bat. That's mistake number one, all right? Can't be doing that, guys. That's just stupidity on my part. I slowed down. I should have just kept going. Should have just kept going. I'd have been fine, but nope. Because I slowed down, I managed to take all of it. But we're already at 130,000 damage. We've got our high caliber. Still 9 minutes left. Plenty of targets to shoot at. So this game has one of those opportunities to be a special game. When you look up at this point in the match and you still realize that there's a lot of enemies left, like, this is special territory. This is where you're like, okay, not only am I going to have a video, but I'm going to have a pretty fun video for everybody. Lightning over here versus Kagero. This Lightning should win this fight 90 times out of 100. But, you know, there's always that extra 10 times where the Lightning just eats torpedoes for some reason and ends up losing the fight, which is really, really obnoxious. But he is going to get a little bit more damage off of him before he lets the Kagero go away. And we are going to try and close the distance on that Kagero, if we can. Now notice what's left. We've got the Alabama that's behind us, way out in the distance. We've got one battleship that's left, and it is a 2 versus a 5 situation. Okay, 2 versus 5. So what do we need to do to try to guarantee this game a little bit better, right? One would say try to stick closer together, but that's kind of out of a question at the moment. I'm out here on an island by myself. He's out there chasing a damage kite. But Kagero lets himself get spotted, which is a huge mistake. We're going to take full advantage of that and manage to take him down. And that's the torpedo threat. Now I'm feeling pretty confident. That also brings us up much closer to being at least in the same wheelhouse as the enemy points-wise. So you can see I'm looking at the Georgia, I'm looking at the Alabama. I'm like, okay, Georgia should be able to win that. And then we've got Nagato over here. And then, of course, on top of that, not just the Nagato hits me, but he's got somebody else shooting at me as well. So we've got 2 battleships over here. We get a very good opening salvo on him. I say very good. It was only like 1 penetration, but you'll see. This Nagato is going to get a little too complacent for his own good, and he's going to help me out tremendously. But you can see we're right there with them in terms of points. 1 good kill on any of us, and we managed to flip the points. And Georgia's going to manage to do that over there. He's going to kill that Alabama, and that's going to give us the points lead. And then not only that, but Georgia is also relatively quick, so he's going to head over towards Bravo. Now, I've got a full health Nagato here, and I have an unknown battleship behind him. And you can see this time the battleship catches me a little bit too sideways and gives me the Citadel for 13,000 damage. You gotta love it. That's what I'm saying. This thing will give up those Citadels all day long. You don't want to be taking those at range. So this is where I start having to turn out and kite. We get a 26,000 damage, 7 penetration salvo into that Nagato right there, because he's just begging for it, constantly he's constantly broadside to me. We may not Citadel him, but by golly, we'll put a hurting on him. You can see Alabama and the Georgia over there had him a heck of a fight, but between the two of them, he managed to win, and that gives us the points lead. Now it's a 2 versus 2 cap advantage at the moment. I'm trying everything I can to keep this Nagato from capturing this base, and probably should have done this a little bit sooner. Should have started trying the long run, knock him down with HE, but he kept opening up and kept giving me beautiful shots, so I kept shooting armor piercing at him. And unfortunately, we're starting to get some of that RNG playing against us here, but for the most part, they're not able to do consistent damage to us. They're getting like 1,000 to 4,000 damage per salvo. I can handle that because I'm getting more than that off of them. That's what we call preferable, as I hit them for 7,800. But once again, I am going full evasive at this point because we have the lead. I don't have to do anything crazy. So you can see with me continuously trying to turn out and turn back up and just throw these guys shots off so that they're not doing good consistent damage to me as they get a nice solid hit on me from the Iowa. And I also start realizing that this Iowa is my biggest threat. Nagato hasn't shown me that he's capable of doing anything to me, so I'm starting to look at the Iowa, trying to get rid of him. If I can get rid of the Iowa, I'll do much better, I think. So we're at 193,000 damage. I don't know if you guys noticed, but 193,000 damage. They are starting to shoot HE at me now, which is not preferable. But for the most part, we're getting away with it. We're going to have to use some of our heals for less than ideal healing scenarios. But again, it comes down to sometimes you have to do what you got to do. And that's what we're going to be doing here in this one. While we didn't get much out of that heal, something is better than nothing. And we take a nice shot here at this Iowa. This Iowa just opened up a little too much. And we're going to get a decent... I say decent, every time I think I get a decent hit, I actually do nothing. And then they smashed me there. But you can see I still have a little bit of healing I can do. And I have one more heal that I'll get in 47 seconds. So we're going to try to see if we can't hit this Iowa again. And this time we do actually get a good result. Getting over 10,000 damage, that shell. So very, very good salvo there. We've got the Iowa down to basically nothing. You can see I am loading the HE because I am anticipating him being, just bow tanking me. So I just want to get rid of him. And the very first shell that hits him gets a fire. Welcome to the British high explosive, fellas. And then the second time I turn, I get the front guns off. And I believe that's going to hit him and finish him off. Right in the superstructure. Beautiful shot. So we managed to finish him off. Now we still have HE loading. We are still spotted. You can see I am now officially turning back in towards the Nagato. No reason for us to sit here. We take a shot. And I believe we get a fire immediately, which he is going to damage con. You can see one fire. He puts it out. Big mistake on his part. But we're at 214,000 damage, done over 200,000 damage and a Vanguard. I believe that's a new damage record for me already in the Vanguard. And we're not done yet. We still got quite a bit of health to take off of this Vanguard, or this Nagato. But we fire the HE at him again, and we get the fire. Okay, that's a permanent fire. And so I immediately switch back over to the armor piercing because I'm anticipating him doing exactly what he's about to do. And he does exactly what I wanted him to. He goes full broadside for no reason whatsoever, and we have the fast reload, so we're able to take full advantage of it, and we punch this man right in the mouth, hitting him for 15,000. And because of the permanent fire, he finally is able to finish us off, getting a good penetration there, but because of the permanent fire, he's going to keep ticking up, and unfortunately for him, that's going to be the end of his game. But you can see right at the 240,000 damage mark. Not too shabby for a Vanguard, am I right? So hopefully you guys enjoyed. It was a fun match. It was right down to the wire. Georgia holding his own, manages to take out 2 enemies on the other side. I managed to take out 3 enemies on my side to secure the win. A 2 versus 5 scenario, and shows exactly how you can throw that match if you're not careful. But 239,000 damage done. Flesh wound, high cow, Confederate. 3,700 base XP. Not too shabby. Georgia coming in second. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you in the next video.